My name is Lisa Cook. I am from Lancaster, Ohio, 50 years old, and I'm doing this for my daughter. I was born in 1965, so grew up through the 70s. Have a brother that's a year younger than me, and my parents were in high school when they had me. Back then, people didn't talk about the stuff that went on in their homes behind closed doors. It was very private, and our home was not one of the model homes. There was a lot of abuse and neglect, and that went through my whole childhood. As far as with my family, I think that there are people that are not meant to have children, and I don't think either one of my parents were meant to have children, and the fact that they did so together was just a catastrophic mess. My mom and dad fought all the time. My mom would go around in what I would call a duster, a real light, like house coat or robe, and she carried steak knives around in the pocket, and would go after my dad with them. If my brother and I were outside playing and they were in one of their big fights, she would call us in, and we had to stay inside so we could hear the alleged things that he had done. She never parented us. When I was 11, maybe 5th grade, my dad took my brother out to get us something for supper, and he came home and dropped my brother off in front and said he was going to pull his truck around back to park, and he left, and we didn't see him for months. My mom, who, all of her adult life, she has had major depression. She used to be in and out of the psychiatric hospital and had electric shock treatments where they put electricity waves into your brain, and she'd be gone for months at a time. And when he left, she had recently just gotten out of the hospital. She never got out of bed once he left, didn't take care of us. There was no food in the house, to the point that finally we went and we talked to our teachers at school. We went to Talmadge, and they pulled together and got us lunch money and stuff. Someone from there got a hold of my grandparents, which were my mom's folks, and they had her committed to Riverside Psychiatric Hospital again. My brother and I moved in with them. We were there for about probably 6 or 7 months. She was gone that time. And 4 months after my dad left, all of a sudden he called out there and wanted to see us. So he came out and visited us, and I don't think either one of us knew what to think about him just showing up after leaving us with someone he knew was dangerous. But once that all happened, they ended up divorced. To this day, still act like it's just been yesterday, and they've stuck us in the middle. But our family, I think, is broken. I don't see either one of my parents. I've tried, and there's been periods of time where I do. It's just not worth it. My mom always says that she can't have both her kids mad at her, so she's always nice to my brother. I don't care what he says to her or anything. That's the kid that she stays in touch with. And my dad, I don't know, when I was little, He and I were real close. I played sports and stuff, and he kind of buffered between her and us. But once he left and got remarried and just kind of pushed us to the wayside, he really had very little interest in me. He has a very low opinion of females in general, and has repeatedly said that females and or women are nothing but stupid bitches. I find that offensive as his daughter, and the fact that he has 6 granddaughters. There's an issue with that. When we were little, it was my dad and her were still together, and he was still living with us. The very first time she ended up in the psychiatric hospital was because she expressed that she wanted my brother and I dead, and they could go on with their life, and it would be perfect. He worked a lot. She worked second shift. And when he was at work one time, she had turned on the gas oven and put my brother and I down for a nap, and she went to bed with the intent that we wouldn't wake up. She was discovered, and that was the first time she got committed to the hospital. She, a handful of times, overdosed on her pills and would lay out in the hallway in front of our bedroom doors so we would find her. My dad, I think, could be a very loving person in the right situation, but I don't think that he is capable or even interested in investing in a decent relationship. Swimming pool. I was 16, and we met. He went to a different school. I mean, it is what it is. You know, when you're that age, you want to have a boyfriend and blah, blah, blah. You put up with so much just to be in, you know, like your friends. We were never a good match. I don't think he ever loved me. I thought I loved him, but I think it was more of a case of, yeah, I'll marry you, then I can get out of this house. So it didn't last too long, a little less than 5 years. Constant fighting. He was abusive as well, the hitting and this type of thing. But we finally ended that, and after it was over, then I could, you know, admit to myself, we never should have got married. It was a disaster. The whole time, and my God, don't get married when you're 18 years old. You are not the same person. You know, give yourself a little bit of time to have fun and run, and yeah. I think that even if you're going through something horrible, I think you can learn something from it, learn something about yourself and what's good for you. I mean, I admit I am not the best person at relationships. I don't know if that's because I never had one, you know, to go by, that this is the way it should be. But I feel like the older I get, the better I get at it.
Flower. Yeah.
I think that the relationships could be better. I'm glad that there is some kind of a relationship, but I'm still pretty leery of what the intent is. She doesn't do anything unless she's getting something out of it. I mean, she just doesn't. I don't think she has it in her to care about anybody else in a genuine way. I don't know, but I don't think he's capable either, neither one of them. You know, like I said, my childhood wasn't really a childhood. I've made so many mistakes as an adult. You know, I've hurt you kids with my actions and stuff, and I would never intentionally do that. and I hope as I get older that I'm learning from all of that, and, you know, I might get the cool mom status someday. Still working on it, but I think anything's possible. Just don't give up.